Hello, Moment friends! Andang here for another episode of the Epic Story. When we last left off, we were getting ready to talk to Gandalf after going around all over the city doing all these other crazy quests for other people and finding this guy that was lying to us about the stores, but we forgave him. Now everything's good and it's time to talk to Mithrandir.
I must hear what you saw in Osgiliath, and I must hear it quickly.
There you are, Stafteng. I suppose you have been north of the Ramus Sekor on Imrahil's errand? I told you to assist the Prince of Dol Amroth, but soon afterward I regretted doing so. There were some matters I should have asked you about in greater detail, but I gave away my chances by sending you away. It is all set now, for you have returned, and I will worry at it no longer. I must hear what you saw in Osgiliath, and I must hear it quickly. No, not here. Speak to me if you are ready, and we will depart together for the old archives, where we will find the first and oldest collection of scrolls in the city. I think your tale may require further study, and that is where we may conduct it. So excited! This is my favorite quest in this entire book of the Epic Story. Cannot wait. At this point in the Epic Story, it is my favorite part of Volume 4 by far. I mean, I'm probably hyping it up too much for later on, but I mean, I have fond memories of this
Let
quest.
us go to the old archives and speak on the way.
You may begin the tale of your experiences in Osgiliath as we walk, and perhaps I will have heard its full extent by the time we have arrived. We must not spend too long poring over old scrolls when battle is so close upon us. But my heart tells me that there is something we have overlooked, some detail that may be of use to us in the days ahead. We must know that this thing may be. Alright, here we go. Excited.
Your encounter with Gothmog fills me with a dread I cannot explain. I hope to learn why here in the old archives.
Why? Welcome to the old archives, Stafteng. They were carved into the pier rock in the center of the Sage's Neath, when the city was still called the Tower of the Sun. This was the original library and storehouse of the city, and it remains a trove of ancient knowledge and secrets. There is much to discover in the scrolls and books that are here kept, but few in these days give much thought to these dusty shelves. There is no semblance of order to be found. They forgot to call Dewey to help them out. It was in these dark chambers that I found the scroll of Isildur, and learned much that I needed to know. I am worried about the commander you met in Osgiliath, Gothmog the Dread Terror. He claims to be Mordorith, reclaimed from the void. But neither of those is his true name. His true name was Aerner, and he was the last king of Gondor. Well, that certainly can't be good. All right. Aerner was mighty, and he did not lack for courage, but he possessed none of the caution that could have saved him from doom. He had great victory at Fornost, when he defeated the Witch King of Angmar, but that victory stirred his pride to great heights. The Witch King fled. Prince Aerner believed he had nearly rid Middle-earth of that terrible foe, and cursed his failure to end it there. Years later, the Witch King issued a challenge to Aerner, now the King of Gondor, and summoned him to Minas Morgul. Aerner went to that dark city to face his hated foe, and was lost. We now know that his will was mastered, and he became the loyal servant of his former enemy. He took a new name, Mordorith, and was given the rule of Angmar while the Witch King managed the interests of Mordor elsewhere in Middle-earth. Through your own efforts and those of the Rangers and the champion of Angmar, he was defeated. But it seems that victory was not to last. He maintained some bond to his former life, and it allowed his Dark Master to draw him back before he was lost for good. Search in this chamber for mention of Erna, and I will search the other. Okay, time to run a little bit. Alright, yes, let's search the scrolls. You study many of the rolled scrolls, but find nothing relevant. Search the scrolls! Alright. This pile of scrolls does not contain the information you seek. You find a yellow scroll that bears Erna's name many times throughout. Well, this seems like something Gandalf would want to know. I mean, I'm a lore master, I could read about it and tell Gandalf all about it and explain it to him. But, you know, Gandalf probably needs a little bit of confidence, so we'll give it back to him. You had better fortune than I did, Staftang, for I have yet to find anything. Let me see this scroll. Mithrandir takes it from you and almost rips it, and quickly reads the yellow parchment. After a moment, he looks at you again. These are matters of interest in this scroll. It speaks of not one challenge, but two, a detail of which I was not aware. It appears that the Witch King challenged Eärnur to ride forth, and the king was dissuaded from that foolishness by his steward, a wise man named Mardil. That name I do know, for he would become the first of the ruling stewards when Eärnur disappeared into Minas Morgul. It is from his line that Denethor draws his authority. Eärnur did not ride to Minas Morgul alone. He was accompanied by a retinue of knights, and they disappeared with him. Some of these men you may have seen before, transformed into Kargul. This scroll bears their names, Orlong and Kaldatur, Silmatar, and Masilnis. I cannot match these names with their fates. These names are not familiar to me, but I do have a dim recollection that a man named Orlong may have committed some heroic deed at the Battle of Fornost. It is the barest hint of a memory, but I have not even that for these others. Masilnis is a common name among the women of Gondor. None of the histories I have seen include any women in the retinue of Eärnur's knights, but this scroll appears genuine to me, and I have no reason to doubt it. Some of Eärnur's knights have returned to troubled Middle-earth as Kargul, but the power he wielded as Mordorith seems more deadly than theirs. We should expect he will be more powerful still, in his guise as Gothmog. And yet, somewhere behind these masks, does any of Eärnur remain? He was bold, but foolish. Can it be that Gothmog will be that same? Search this chamber for more mention of Eärnur, and I will search the other. This seems to be a common theme, Gandalf. Alright. The pages of these books are very faded and tell you nothing of interest. You can't even read them. You find a dusty tome containing records of the kings and stewards. You have found something else? Ah, yes. This book contains charts describing the passage of succession through the line of kings, and then through the line of the ruling stewards. Do you see? Here is Mardil, the first of the stewards, who ruled Gondor after Eärnur, and was taken into the darkness of Minas Morgul. Mardil swore an oath to rule only until the king returned, and each ruling steward has made the same vow. Mithrandir looks around furtively, ensuring that you are alone. When he is satisfied you are alone in the archives, he continues. Perhaps at one time the stewards believed that the line of kings would return, but that possibility must now seem quite unlikely. We should not speak of it, even here, but there is one on his way to Minas Tirith, who will remind Denethor of his vow. The king may very well return to Gondor, and the rule of the stewards will no longer be necessary. Until the king returns. Oh dear. Stafting, you are not to speak a word of this to anyone, especially in a video, but I fear that we may have overlooked a crucial detail. Our mutual friend approaches the city in the company of his Dunedain kin. If Gondor survives the war to come, he will claim the kinship. He will trace his line back through the years to Isildur. But what if someone else seeks to claim that right? What if Erenir claims the kingship? He is descended from Anarion, brother of Isildur, an unbroken succession. If he can prove that he is Erenir, his claim to the throne is stronger than Aragorn's. We must prevent it, Stafting. We must prevent the return of this king. It may come to nothing, Stafting. There are few in the city who would believe that a man might return from the darkest depths of evil. Though he was once Erenir, he has worn many guises since he was the king of Gondor. He cannot be the man he was, and despite the rules of succession, he has been corrupted by Angmar and by Mordor. But we must remain alert. If Gothmog does seek to seize the throne of Gondor, we must oppose him, no matter the cost. We should leave this place. It is no longer as comfortable or as familiar as it once was. Dang, I love that instance. The reveal the first time especially is just absolutely amazing. The fact that Aragorn is not the closest in line of the living beings to being king. I mean, that's a huge deal and just an awesome reveal. I'm so glad that they incorporated that into LOTRO. It's really cool. We must keep each other's confidence on this matter and tell no one the true nature of Gothmog's lineage. No good can come of it, for Gondor or for this Middle-earth. I do thank you for your tale, Stafting, though it be unpleasant and wearisome. Better to know and prepare than to be taken unawares. For now there is a city to defend. We must set our will to its defense, and let all other matters fade into the background. They are lesser matters, for as long as the gate and the men defending it stand strong, may that be a long time. May that be long enough. Alright, that does bring this episode to a close. When we return, we'll make our way down to Imrahil in the first circle, but that is not till next time. Thank everyone so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit the like button down below. The more likes, the more likely I will be to make episodes sooner. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and I'll see you again real soon for another episode of The Epic Story.